Hello and welcome to the Away Day Experience Show. My name's Sam Davis.
I'm Morgan Scott.
And on this show, it's all about the last away day that we've had. We've got a couple to catch up on, and were they good? We'll find out. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. There you go. There's the information at the bottom. Make sure you do, because we've got a load of AFCB content, but also EFL content as well. So if you're a fan of a club in the Championship, you might well be interested in where your club is ranking on the tier list so far. This is the tier list so far that you can see on your screen. We're ranking every single away day experience. But Morgan, which club are we covering today? Oh, Derby County. Loving it, mate. And you know what, mate? This should be really interesting. And look, did you enjoy it as a whole that weekend?
Yeah, I thought it was, obviously we went up the night before and we had a bit of a night out and a meal and stuff, and I thought it was a really good experience, to be fair. In if anything, Sam, it was better than what I thought it was going to be. I thought the food was nice where we ate, and the hotel was pretty basic, although it was perfect. We were only there for a night and we were only there to sleep and stuff. So yeah, it was pretty basic. Obviously, we're not going to base it too much on our experience of the hotel. It's more about the football and the experience of the away day. But in terms of a weekend, I thought it was up there with one of the best. So yeah, no, it was good. And no, looking forward to this.
Yeah, so it's the first time I've actually been to Pride Park, amazingly. However, what we're going to rate then, as Morgan said, yeah, we went out for the weekend, but we're going to rate the things that you can see at the bottom of your screen. The pre-match experience, what it's like getting there, what it's like parking, what to do, where to go beforehand. Also the stadium itself, Pride Park, relatively new. What's the stadium like? Also the concourse and facilities. Are the toilets any good? Is there enough space in the concourse? Is it packed? Is it rammed? Food and drink. This is a big one at the football, right? What were the beers like? What was the food like? Any good? Also, we cover the view as well. The view from our seat. Were we behind the goal? Were we in the corner? Were we at the side? We discussed that and whether the view was any good. Also, we cover accessibility views as well, courtesy of Access Advisor, plus the home fan decibel level. And I've got a feeling, Morgan, that Derby might actually score all right. Unlike any team this season, their home fans might score well on that level, eh?
Yeah, I think we'll go on to it later, I'm sure, but I think they was the one of the best of the season so far. I think we were all really impressed, and they didn't stop singing, and we would sing a chant, and then they would sing a chant, and it was really, really good to see, considering what they're obviously going through, you know, with the point reduction and whatever. I thought they were spot on as fans, and I'm sure we'll come onto that later in the show.
So, as Benjamin Bloom says, we're going to try to leave our bias at the door. And yeah, look, it's not favourable having a Sunday lunchtime kickoff. Thanks very much, Sky. But we're going to go through it methodically, and we're going to start with the pre-match experience. Now, being a 12 o'clock kickoff, it's not like many of us were piling into the pubs beforehand, was it? But I tell you what, Morgan, if you want a nice leisurely walk to the ground, it's actually quite picturesque, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was quite a good little walk over to the ground. What was it, about 26 minutes from our hotel? And yeah, I thought it was a nice little stroll through the countryside, and just gave us time to kind of get a bit of fresh air in, and it wasn't too cold, was it? So yeah, it was really nice to get a little walk on the way there, and maybe if it was raining it wouldn't have been so joyous, but I thought in all it was a nice little walk through the countryside for a good half an hour or so. So yeah, that was perfect, to be honest.
Yeah, walking along the riverbank, it was really nice. We had a hotel in the city centre. Now, there is a Harvester pub that away fans are guided to that's relatively near the stadium, a little bit like Stoke and Reading in some ways, in that there aren't many pub options nearby. However, fans were guided there. Also, if you're in the city centre, it's not too bad. Like Morgan said, it's about 26 minutes. I'd love to know what you'd say if you were being precise, Morgan. Absolutely loving that. So out of 10, Morgan, even though it's very difficult to score based on the fact it's a lunchtime kickoff and you didn't really get to experience many of the pubs beforehand, you did get a taster of the city centre, which I thought was actually quite nice. Derby, not been before, but out of 10, can you give the pre-match experience a rating for us?
For me, I would go with a 6. I thought it was, as I said, you mentioned it would get higher if it was obviously a different kickoff time and we had more time to maybe go for another cup of beer somewhere or whatever. But for me, I would say it's a 6. As you said, Sam, the city centre was quite nice. We got to explore that quite a lot. So yeah, no, I would go with a 6 for that.
Yeah, I was about to say I was gonna maybe push it to like a 7 or an 8 if the kickoff time was different, but we couldn't quite do that. So yeah, I'm on board with that. And look, where Derby fans might be thinking that's a bit low, I'm sure in other departments you'll be scoring very high indeed. Now the stadium, mate. I must admit, mate, that size ground I absolutely love. And whilst it wasn't full, I thought the whole facility looked really nice from the outside. It is kind of based on a business park, as many of these new grounds seem to be, but it is a stadium that still retains a bit of character.
Yeah, 100%, Sam. I haven't been. You said earlier that you haven't been either, and I haven't been to Pride Park. And I thought, in general, it was quite a nice size. I thought it was. I thought the away end was very, very good as well. I thought we had quite good seats from where we booked. So yeah, I thought in general the stadium was probably one of the best I've done this season. I know you and Tom have done other, but for me, I thought Pride Park was very, very good, to be honest with you, in terms of the structure of the stadium as well.
What really intrigues me about that is that the capacity for that match. The actual stadium capacity is over 33,000, but it doesn't seem that. It seems a bit smaller because when you look at the attendance of that match, it didn't seem like there were many empty seats, but like everyone's very close to the pitch. And I thought, yeah, it's a lovely stadium that obviously retains a lot of noise, which we'll talk about. And it's one that is, yes, it's a bowl, but it's got some quirks to it. So I was quite a big fan of it. It had a Greg's on the outside of it, mate. I mean, that's got to be a bonus, right? It's got to be a bonus. Anyway, what's your score out of 10 for the stadium?
For the stadium itself, I'm gonna go from 6 to 7 for this. I thought the stadium in general was very, very good. I'm sure. I haven't obviously been to as many as yourself, but for me, I would go 7 for the stadium. Hopefully, at some point, Bournemouth can get something like that. I wouldn't mind that at our home stadium, Sam. I thought it was a very, as you said it, the structure's good, and obviously there's a Greg's outside. That's always good to be hungry beforehand. And there was also a Subway as well, and maybe there's a couple of other restaurants nearby as well. So for the stadium, we'll give that a 7.
7. Morgan's going for a 7. Loving your work with that. Now, at this point, it's worth saying that we do often get some footage from Access Advisor. If you haven't checked their channel out, click the card at the top of the screen, just above Morgan's head there, because that will take you straight to their channel and you can have a look at some of their accessibility reviews. And at this point, we're going to talk about what they thought of Pride Park. So, Rob Trent, he travelled with Riverside Travel. Stewards even stopped traffic for him when he got there, dropped curbs everywhere, which is really good. All the staff were really, really helpful, showing him the way to his seat. He also spotted one accessible toilet in the main concourse as well, a secret doorway as well, a lift, which is always good. And once he was at the top of the lift, the big reveal, as you can see on screen. What a view he's got there. Will it be spoilt by standards like at previous matches like Reading? Just on the other side of that gantry was quite a drop. So even if anyone was standing, they would not get in the way. He also gave the pies a massive thumbs up at all. But he rated Pride Park really, really well and said especially the staff were incredibly helpful and the stadium itself was really good and the accessible toilets were absolutely superb. So Derby, top work on that. And as an away fan, the concourse, yeah, I mean, I thought it was reasonably sized. If we took more fans, I think it would have been a little bit of a squeeze. It was quite an interesting one with the way that it was like set up, because some fans had to walk up some stairs to get to their like exits and other fans had to go up another staircase and some were on the ground level as you walked into the concourse. But I thought it was pretty good. The facilities, you didn't have to queue for ages for either food, drink, or like needing a wee. And I thought, Morgan, it was pretty good, really.
Yeah, from what I heard, I didn't personally go down myself. I was pretty happy with just, to be honest with you, I was quite enjoying the ground and just having a look around. And sometimes you don't want to spend too much time in the facilities if you really don't have to. So for me, I didn't spend too much time down there. But from what I said and from what yourself and others have said, I thought they were bang on. You said, obviously, it's great that fair play to Derby. Thank you very much for making it an experience for people with disability that makes it a lot easier, because obviously then they're more likely to want to travel to away day, because obviously not knowing in certain things, if they can't do certain things, that's very helpful. So fair play to Derby for what they did, and it's really good to hear the positive feedback on that part.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I like, that they, like many clubs we're experiencing this season, at half time you can go outside, you don't have to stay inside the concourse. So if you're looking for a vape or a smoke, you can. And also there were extra food and drink vans outside of the concourse as well, within the gated off area, so that you could go and grab some food there. So that made perfect sense to me. Out of 10 then, mate, what are you scoring it? I feel as though this one should be probably quite high.
I'm gonna, from what you said about there's three things here that I think are quite good. The fact that fans could go out if they wanted to choose to vape or smoke. The fact that the accessibility was perfect for an away day. And the fact that you could go out and you don't have to try and miss as much football as you would do if you were queuing inside. I think this one deserves a 9 for the fact that you could go outside, you're not going to miss any football if you want a cola or a beer or a pie at half time, and then you can get back to your seat and watch the second half. So for me, that gets a 9.
Morgan's going for a 9 for that. Then in terms of the food and drink, right, didn't eat myself, but I've heard very good things. The pies apparently were on point. Also, the beer was cold. There was a relatively good selection as well. Plus, you could get extra food outside as well. And Rob Trent, as you saw earlier, he said the pies were pretty good. So I'm going to score this one on your behalf, Morgan, because you said you didn't eat there. One thing, plus point. Can I just say a plus point? You've got it. You've got it. You know what I was about to say. Yeah, that if you buy a Coca-Cola, they leave the caps on the drink. I don't know why that is. I think obviously if you've got a drink and it's sealed, you can launch it and it's quite a heavy weapon. Is that what it is? I'm not too sure what it is. But you know what? Those kind of incidents are few and far between, and it's nice to be trusted as fans. So they let you put the cap on your drink. And look, mate, for people who've got issues such as tremors, having a cap on a drink's quite a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sam, for leading to that. No, I think that's for someone that if you're buying a drink, let's not be honest. At away days, things are a lot pricier than a normal shop, for example, and you don't want to drop your drink and spill it all over. So if you can keep a lid, for me or anyone else with a tremor or whatever, I think that makes the experience slightly better, and that goes towards these overall scoring. So it has been, and I said to you, I said, oh, they kept, and you're like, I'll remember that. So I think for us, like as fans, to go somewhere, and that would kind of want, if I was thinking about going to an away day again, back to the same ground, that would be something I would remember, and I think I might go back there because of that experience.
It sounds really bloody stupid, mate, but when I buy a bottle of Coke or whatever, I don't want to down it in one. I don't want to do that. So I'll take it up to my seat, and then so like either you got to hold it, which is really annoying. How are you supposed to join in with the chants? You know, you can't do that. Or you've got to place it between your legs and just hope to God that you don't knock it over, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So that just made perfect sense to me. And for this, mate, I think again, food and drink could and should score relatively high.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it should. As you said, you're going to rate this one because obviously I didn't have the experience of eating and drinking at Pride Park, but I think this deserves a high rating. I thought it, from what you said, and obviously the lid and the extra vans outside, obviously that goes towards it. So Sam, what do you think for this one?
I'm going to give this one a 9, mate. 9 for food and drink for Pride Park. Yeah, very, very good with that. And look, when you're in a stadium that's relatively new, they've all got the cantilever roofs, which means that you've got no pillars in front of you. So the view's always pretty good. We weren't quite behind the goal, but you could if you had seats to the left-hand side, or you could have the side view. So in a way, you've got the best of both worlds. You could basically choose where you wanted to sit. Where our tickets were, mate, they were almost like right by the corner flag, so we had that sort of diagonal view of the pitch. But I thought the height was really good. You could go, right down to the bottom as well. The view from where Rob was sitting was also very good. I thought that again was a really good experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the view was bang on, as she said. The fact that we saw the goal from our angle was good. I think when Jadon Anthony scored, that was a good view, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it really was. So out of 10, what are you going to give it?
For me, it's got to be up there. I'm going to go with a 9 again.
Yeah, 9. Absolutely. Agree with that, mate. Right. We've been so disappointed at every single ground we've been to this season. And I don't know how many we've done so far. Feels like 8 or 9. But each and every set of fans have just not raised their game at all. Now, Derby were different. And for a Sunday lunchtime kickoff, I especially thought that they were impressive. That really impressed me. The fact that they raised their voices. Now, maybe they're galvanising because of the recent points deduction. Maybe that's just normal for them, but they completely got behind the lads. They didn't stop singing, but also the decibel level. My God, it was quite impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. They were sensational. They were really, really, really loud throughout. I thought, considering what they've been through with, as you said, Sam, the deduction, and it's quite psychologically, you can lose your head and think, okay, and not play good football and whatever. But Tom, in terms of the loudness, for me, it was the best that I've seen away from home this season, and I'm sure I speak for yourself as well. I know you've done a lot, but I think this one's going to score really, really high. And for me, I think we're going to have to give it. Be waiting.
Go on.
It's only going to be a 10.
Oh, he's gone big 10s. And you know what? I absolutely agree. Because their fans basically helped them get over the line. And I thought that was truly impressive. And look, I know that recently they lost 2-1 with that last-minute worldie from Andre Gray against QPR. What a finish that was. I thought they might be taking a point there. It's still hard. They keep on singing, we'll fight to the end. And I'm absolutely certain that they will. And best wishes to them. So then, the overall rating. You can see, once again, here's the tier list on your screen, and you've got various categories. So you've got Yes Lads. That is the creme de la creme. Underneath that, you've got Decent. That's where a lot of clubs are appearing actually at the moment. You've got So-So, you got Nah Mate, and Absolute Dog. No one yet has fell in the Absolute Dog category. And only one has been in Yes Lads. So, Morgan, Yes Lads, Decent, So-So, Nah Mate, Absolute Dog. Where are you scoring Derby County? Where are you putting it?
We're going to put it in Decent for this one. I think it could have been up there with Yes Lads, but obviously a lot of Bournemouth fans wouldn't have the experience of staying overnight, and most people had to do all the travel on one day, so that's why it's gone there. But I think if it had the kickoff time had been slightly adjusted, maybe 3:00 or 5:30 or whatever, it might have just edged it to Yes Lads. But for me, I think Derby County was in general a great experience, and that's why it has gone indecent.
Love it. Stay tuned. There are away experience shows coming up for Millwall and for Fulham within the next 7 days. So there's a little red button that they can click down below, right, Morgan?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to subscribe to the channel, it makes sense to do that. And maybe hit the bell while you're there, because it just lets you know when we're there. So, and then you don't have to look us up. So yeah, and then when we're live. So
No, absolutely agree. And look, there's a little thumbs up as well, and this little thumbs up is really important because people don't really sort of get what it's for, but what it does, right? If you're a Derby fan watching this and you've found what we've said quite pleasing, then just click that, because what it does, it puts it in front of more eyes, and it means when people are searching for Derby County or whatever on YouTube or for AFC Bournemouth, in the search listings, this video will get higher and higher the more thumbs ups there are. So we'd really appreciate it if you would do that, and if you agreed with anything we said at any part of the video, and I'm sure you agreed with something, right? So it'd be a real help for us. We're only a Diddy channel, and we're just aiming to grow organically as much as possible with your help. So we'd really appreciate that if you could help us out. Thanks very much, Morgan. Really enjoyed that.
No worries at all, boss. Thanks very much.
And remember to stay tuned to Back of the Net, because there's a hell of a lot of content on the way. And this weekend, as I said, it's Fulham away. Oh, that's a tasty one. Up the cherries.